I forget how many times we have gone over this simple but yet key fact you have to remember about Tory Brexiteers. They love to be portrayed as being betrayed. We were betrayed when we went into Europe. Every single law that Parliament passed when we were in the EU was forced on us unfairly. It was a betrayal of our entire parliamentary democracy, they cry. And yet, when they got Brexit, when they finally got it done, it was never enough. Theresa May's deal was just simply not hard enough. Boris Johnson's deal at the time was perfect until it wasn't. And even then, as Boris Johnson was being sort of, shown out the door, there were already cries from the Brexiteers that Boris Johnson was betraying Brexit. This, of course, brings us into Liz Truss, who, well, let's face it, barely got any real time to talk or even discuss the ideas about Brexit, but she was their candidate. She was who they put in charge to finally achieve their true Brexit aims, which was to create this Singapore-on-Thames style UK system with almost, zero to low regulations and a almost 0% tax rate on pretty much everything, because, like I say, in this crazy libertarian free market fundamentalist world that most of the Brexiteers seem to live in, if you follow these rules, you somehow have an amazing economy and it's all going to work. But it looks like today that the Brexiteers are potentially up to no good. But looking like they are trying to force a vote to try and push us to leave the European Court of Human Rights, which in itself is going to cause a lot of problems. But we'll get to those in a moment. But like I say, before we do get to talking about that, please, guys, do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Like I say, it does help out the channel massively if you hit the special like and share button. Like I say, it shows it to more people. It's good for the algorithm stuff and all that. Like I say, remember to leave a comment down below as well, because that helps as well. And of course, down below as well, there are links to my Patreon page, my one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can all buy me coffee. There is the YouTube thank you button as well down below. And of course, there is the Pony Club you can join as well. YouTube subscription service as well, where you get all sorts of little bells and whistles for that. So, what's going on today? Well, essentially what is happening today is that there is going to be an attempt by some Tory MPs to put forward an alternative plan to try and help Rishi Sunak with some of these, to say, the small boat crisis that's been going on. And of course, Rishi Sunak's plan that was revealed yesterday, that he would ban asylum seekers who illegally entered the UK from applying for asylum, was, as a lot of people said, look, if you do that, you are immediately going to be met with challenges from the European Court of Human Rights. And now, of course, some MPs have said, well, we're going to put forward a motion to leave this. And this is being met certainly in two very interesting ways. The first one, of course, is being put forward by a guy called Jonathan Gullis, who is a Tory MP, and he wants to completely get rid of this using what is called a 10-minute rule procedure. And this is to force the backbenchers to argue for this, in which he can sort of put forward for this bill. Now, the potential, but what it will do is it will show how much support for this idea there is in the Tory party. And that is the essentially idea. It is to go, there is a clique that now supports this. And once that is there, what's going to happen? This group can then start to form and come together on the backbenchers and start to agitate, to push for leaving the European Convention on Human Rights, and, of course, the European Court of Justice. Now, of course, this also is being met with a lot of horror, especially by, again, Tory MPs. Why? Because if we do this, this completely blows up the Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement is entirely based on us being in the European Court of human rights, because it was seen, especially by all sides, from the Republic of Ireland, the Protestants, the Catholics in Northern Ireland, the UK side as well, that would be the independent arbiter, that it didn't have any skin in the game, so it was perfect to be this neutral party that could help to sort out any dispute. But the second, if we leave that institution, out goes the neutral arbiter of the Good Friday Agreement. And quite rightly, thankfully, because, not all the Tory party are on this, mad, insane, Brexit crazy train. There are a lot of them, unfortunately, on that crazy train, but luckily not all of them. So this has been met with a lot of genuine horror that they want to push forward and do this. And also, we are hearing today that Boris Johnson is potentially going to back this amendment, along with potentially Suella Braverman and also Priti Patel. So, oh yes, and Jacob Rees-Mogg, of course, is also currently co-sponsoring the bill, Nadine Dorries, and also Tim Loughton as well. So this is going to get, I think, some quite big support. But ultimately, the way that a lot of people are talking about it today is that this will fail. But it's the consequences of what will happen after. Because then this group will go, while they're voting, they'll be looking around going, okay, who's voting for this? Who's voting yes? Time to, gather them up, collect them up. And then they will be agitators. They will start to agitate for leaving for this. And what, by the way, have we seen for years, especially from the Brexiteers? We've seen the exact same targets, the exact same tactics again and again and again. Agitate, agitate, agitate until you get your way. And even when you get your way, push even harder. So this is a monumental problem that essentially past, Tory party leaders have just not faced up to or faced down. And one of the things that we have talked about time and time again is the fact that sooner or later, Sunak will have to say no, or enough is enough. And the question is when does he say it, and what does he say it to? Because ultimately, when he does, when he finally says, no, guys, no more, stop being, foolish, that's if he does stand up to his party. At that point, Sunak will go because he has absolutely no political capital. He has absolutely 0% credibility or even stability. Every Tory MP is out there suspecting that they are going to lose the next election. So why should I be loyal to Rishi Sunak? If he goes, the Tories know they cannot just replace Sunak with someone else, that they will have to go to a general election. And then obviously potentially it becomes a general election issue, depending on who wins that particular Tory leadership contest. But like I say, this is the potential problem we could be seeing today going forward. Ultimately today, this new bill will lose, But the problem is what happens after. And that's the big takeaway we have to worry about. So, as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.